let's start, shall we, with Coutinho. The latest news is that he's never going to play for Liverpool again.
Well, the latest news is that Liverpool expects to receive a formal bid from Barcelona, which they haven't received yet. Most of what you're getting right now is being briefed either by Coutinho's people or indeed by Liverpool, who say that they're preparing themselves. And unlike what we saw in the summer, they haven't been sort of steadfast in saying, no, we won't let him go at any price. From Barcelona's perspective, I think there's a debate to be had whether they feel that they should spend the money now, perhaps pay a premium, when in fact, you know, that they're flying in La Liga and maybe could get a better deal for themselves in the summer.
Boys, take us into the player's perspective in all of this, because it just seems like, as Gab says, and I think we've talked about it over the last 48 hours, for both clubs it seems to make sense to have this deal done in the summer. So why are we hearing these reports that maybe Coutinho wants it done soon?
I think it's a difficult one for the player here, because clearly there's a recognition and a connection with Liverpool and the supporters, and he's clearly done really well there. Clearly Barcelona is such a big draw, and I can see the staying to Liverpool to the summer making sense, but I can semi-understand from a player's perspective. I don't want to be negative, but next week, 3 days, next month, you could break a leg.
So he's thinking about that?
No, but all I'm saying is it can go through a player's mind. You know, you do your cruise shoot, you're out. They move on, Barca move on, they go somewhere else. It happens. So from a player's perspective, it's difficult sometimes to say, right, OK, we're going to do this in the summer and I'm just going to play for Liverpool all the way through. Because unfortunately, it's an occupational hazard. Bad injuries do happen, and that can affect a player's mindset.
But what may also come into Coutinho's thinking here is Liverpool aren't going to win the title in the Premier League. I think we accept that. I don't think Liverpool are going to win the Champions League either. And as much as he may not be able to represent Barcelona in the Champions League, he could at least play a part in their league fixtures, and it could mean silverware. And gets a move done sooner rather than later, and it gets him to where he wants to be right now and avoid the risks of, as Craig was just speaking about.
I can understand Barcelona wanting to get it done early, because they've sorry, Gab, they're already looking to next year as well.
Right.
You know, player recruitment, gelling people into the squad. How does Coutinho fit in rather than just coming in the summer? Try and get him 4 or 5 months beforehand. So I can completely understand Barcelona trying to pressurise Liverpool into selling the player before they really want to do it.
Gab?
No, I think there's certainly within Barcelona, there's also a school of thought that comes out and says, well, hang on a minute, if we bring him in now, what are the implications going to be? Because this is going to be certainly going to be more expensive signing him now rather than signing him for June. And there's also a sense that you're kind of putting your eggs in your basket. And from Liverpool's perspective too, there's also a sense, look, Brazil are favourites for the World Cup, or certainly among the favourites. What if Coutinho goes and wins the World Cup? Then all of a sudden, maybe his fee could go even higher. He could be even more in demand. And the other elephant in the room is, if you sell Coutinho now, are you in danger of jeopardizing that top 4 finish and your Champions League place for next season?
Well, let's address that.
Well,
if Coutinho goes tomorrow...
Well, the answer is you are, because you took any quality player out of the side, particularly one that's a game changer, then you're making life more difficult for yourself. I mean, nobody would need to tell Jurgen Klopp that. I mean, the guy knows it. But as Gab, for all the reasons Gab has pointed out there, it is a real game of bluff and bluster here, where there are so many different permutations in this time frame between now and the summer that everyone's worried. The players worried. You got Klopp worried. You got Barcelona worried. For goodness sake, even Brazil will be monitoring what's happening with the guy. And so it's a real difficult one. In an ideal scenario, he stays at Liverpool and he goes to Barcelona in the summer. That's the ideal scenario, I think, for everybody. But it doesn't always play out that way.
As much as the form of Salah coming in kind of makes it easier to imagine life without Philippe Coutinho, you're still looking at a top 4 race, as I mentioned, City running away with it. You've got 5 trying to shoehorn into 3. You take that out, you do lose quality, and you do put things in danger. Not finishing in the top 4 also affects what Liverpool can do transfer-wise in the summer.